Hey, blessings, grateful family. Welcome in. Welcome back to the Grateful Gab podcast. Kind of got behind today with my recording time. I was out in the ministry this morning, and then I had to run some errands. But I did not forget about y'all. Of course, here every day I'm going to post something of positivity on the Grateful Gab podcast. Over the next 6 weeks, I'm planning on doing the benefits or doing a lesson that I received from the organization. Again, I'm a Jehovah's Witness. I received this information one of our Awake magazines, and I'll give you all directions for the individuals who have downloaded the JW Library app on your devices. I will give you direction of how you can find this same magazine to be able to do this lesson with your kids. But I'm going to be doing this today in my house for family worship, starting again from today until 6 weeks from now, because it's 6 lessons, and we're going to be doing things over the next 6 weeks to go through this magazine and give my children some information on how the 6 lessons children need to learn. And it's very informative. It's beneficial for the not only the children but also for the parents. So I advise and I would suggest that one, you all incorporate family worship in your households, but two, let it be known to go over this information with your children to allow them to understand the things that they need to learn as children and how it can benefit them in their life now as kids, but also as they become adults and one day, husband and wife and parents, that type of stuff to their children. So daily verse for the day of May 7th, 2025, and then I will be getting into the lesson for today. So again, over the next 6 weeks, on Wednesdays, I'm going to be looking to come here and give each lesson. Again, the 6 lessons. I'll be doing lesson 1 today, but going over each lesson, going over the next couple Wednesdays, because those Wednesdays coordinate with my family worship days in my home. So I want to be able to share that information with you all. And again, I will have the way you can find the information in the JW Library app. I'll walk you through it. So daily verse for the day of May 7th, 2025 derives from the book of Proverbs, chapter 10, verse 21, and it states as follows: The lips of the righteous one nourish many, but the foolish die for lack of sense. Amen. And again, that's from the book of Proverbs, chapter 10, verse 21. So again, ladies and gentlemen, for the individuals who have downloaded the JW Library app, again, you can find this on your Play Store, App Store, whatever type of device you have. If it has a place where you can download applications to your device, you can just search JW Library and it will pop up. So when you do have the JW Library app downloaded, or if you use the JW Library, you'll go down to where it says library, or you'll find on whatever type of device you use, you will find a section that says library. And you will scroll down to it says awake. You will tap awake, and you will scroll down to the year 2019. And in the year 2019, there will be 3 magazines that pop up. There will be a magazine that says Will We Ever Feel Safe and Secure? And the magazine you should be looking for is the second magazine, and it says 6 lessons children need to learn. So again, today I will be covering the introduction and the benefits of self-control, which is the first lesson in the 6 lessons children need to learn. So again, I encourage everybody to share this information with your children, read over it as parents. For the ones who are looking to become parents, read it now, come back to it later on when you do have kids, but just something for us to be able to think about as we prepare for parenthood, but also as we are in parenthood as well. So it's very beneficial. So the introductions to 6 lessons children need to learn. How would you like your child to be known as an adult? Controlled, humble, resilient, responsible, mature, and honest. Children will not develop these traits on their own. They need your guidance. This magazine will discuss 6 essential lessons that you can teach your children, lessons that will prepare them for adulthood. And again, the first lesson I'll be getting to today is the benefits of self-control. What is self-control? Self-control includes the ability to delay gratification, restrain impulses, complete unpleasant tasks, and put others before self. Why is self-control important? Children who have greater self-control can resist temptation, even if the temptation promises short-term rewards. In contrast, children with less self-control may be more likely to be aggressive, suffer depression, smoke or abuse alcohol or drugs, make poor choices in what they eat. One study found that children with greater self-control were less likely as adults to have health issues, financial stress, and problems with the law. That study led Professor Angela Duckworth of the University of Pennsylvania to conclude, there may be no such thing as too much self-control. How to teach self-control. Learn to say no and mean it. In the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 37, Jesus tells us, just let your word yes mean yes. Your no, no for what goes beyond these is from the wicked one. And again, that's from the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 37. And again, Jesus said, just let your word yes mean yes. Your no, no for what goes beyond these is from the wicked one. So again, set those boundaries, right? Your yes mean yes, your no mean no. And again, don't allow Satan to go over those principles of what you have applied of yes and no. It continues to tell us, young children might test a parent's resolve by throwing a tantrum, perhaps even in public. If the parent gives in, the child learns that tantrums are an effective way to get a no changed to yes. On the other hand, if the parent says no and means it, the child learns a basic fact of life, that we cannot always get what we want. Ironically, people who learn that lesson seem to be the most fulfilled, writes Dr. David Walsh. We're not doing our kids any favors when we teach them that the world will always serve up whatever they want on a silver platter. Saying no to your child now will help him to say no to himself later in life. For example, if he is tempted to take drugs, have premarital sex, or engage in other harmful practices, right? So it's very, again, to be able to understand hearing no, but understand it's okay to say no. It's very important. Also, help your children to understand consequences, both good and bad. The book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 7 says, do not be misled. God is not one to be mocked, for whatever a person is sowing, this he will also reap. Your child needs to understand that actions have consequences and that a lack of self-control will therefore have undesirable results. For example, if your son typically loses his temper when he gets upset, others may tend to avoid him. On the other hand, if he develops the ability to restrain himself when provoked, or to wait patiently rather than interrupt people, will be drawn to him. Help your child understand that he is more likely to have good outcomes when he practices self-restraint. Teach your child to prioritize. From the book of Philippians, chapter 1, verse 10 says, that you make sure of the more important things, so that you may be flawless and not stumbling others up to the day of Christ. Self-control is not just a matter of holding back from doing wrong. It includes doing what is necessary, even when this is not particularly exciting or fun. It is important for your child to learn how to establish priorities and stick to them. Have your child do the important things first. For example, he should put homework before recreation. Be a good role model. This is very important for the parents. From the book of John, chapter 13, verse 15 says, for I set the pattern for you, that just as I did to you, you should also do. Your child will see how you respond to unpleasant or frustrating situations. Demonstrate by your example that self-control leads to better outcomes. For example, when your child tests your patience, do you react with anger or do you remain calm? And this is a big thing, because these kids test you, boy. I could tell you, I got daughters, and my daughters, they push my buttons. But this is something I constantly work on to be able to approach them with mildness, again, patience, all these type of fruits that Galatians 5:22 and 23 bring out. We really have to try to work on them constantly so that you can, again, be a role model, be a good role model for your children to lead by example. Ways we are able to apply training now. Saying no to your child now will help him to say no to himself later in life. Again, re-emphasizing not only being tempted by the world, but making great decisions for themselves, right? Knowing that if you have some type of health condition and something isn't good for you, that your child having the self-discipline, self-control to say no, I don't need that, no, whatever it may be in their life. But hearing no and hearing yes, it's beneficial, and it's a time and place for everything. So it's very important for us to be able to give our children understanding of why we say no. Don't just tell them no, but to be able to explain and give them reasons of why we said no, and things of that nature. So just really do your best. So, and again, make sure we're teaching by example, right? Think about, does your child see you work through frustrating situations without losing your temper? Think about the way we are explaining to the child the reasons why you try to handle things calmly, and also how would your child describe you, right? Would your child describe you as an impulsive person, quick-tempered, self-disciplined, or self-discipline and control? So, again, this is very important for us to be able, for things for us to think about. So, again, I encourage everyone who's listening now to download the JW Library app. Come check out this article. Again, the 6 lessons that can benefit children is very important. And again, you can find, the 6 lessons children need to learn. And again, I just went over the first lesson, the benefits of self-control. So again, over the next 6 weeks, I will have more information and more lessons coming down the line. But again, this is something that my family and I are going to be applying tonight in our family worship moment, our family worship time. And again, I encourage everyone, if you don't already do family worship, implement family worship in your life, because not only are we in charge of how we raise our kids and what they need to learn, we also are in charge of them, implementing a spiritual practice and spiritual routine in their life to follow Jesus Christ, to follow Jehovah God. So it's very important. Make sure we do that. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I encourage everyone to come check out the article. Go to the library, scroll down to Awake in the JW Library app, scroll down to 2019, and click on the second magazine, the 6 lessons children need to learn. So take care of yourselves. I love y'all. Be blessed. Until next time. Peace.